Second, what will it bring to my family and others? And third, what growth will I give to society and myself? Because I believe that if I build myself, I also build society. Okay, so first, when it comes to boldness and deciding on the future options that you have in life, it says you have to take risks. So willingness to take risks. So you need to ask yourself, if what's at stake is my time, what's at stake is my willingness and readiness to commit to the rigors of what this decision will bring, or the risks of just being faced with a difficulty. You ask yourself, will I be willing to do it? What will it take for me? And actually, when you take risks, as long as it does not endanger your life, it can endanger your reputation, but in order for you not to endanger your reputation, you just have to do your job well and do the right thing, all right? Because that's what it takes. No one will say you're wrong. No one will penalize you for doing the right thing. No one will penalize you for being ethical, and no one will penalize you for just trying to learn and being able to do everything in order for you to advance in your chosen career or your chosen assignment or job opportunity. So that's taking risks. Tell yourself, okay, now that I'm willing to take risks, what should I do next? It says in the definition, act innovatively. Innovatively means not everything is there for you, okay? But you have to think about ways on how to come up with work output that is new, that is relevant, and that is productive, that is rigorous, and that is worth emulating. And when you do this, when you act innovatively and find ways, research on data-based, research-based examples on how to do things right, then you're acting innovatively. Plus, that's not all. Because for me, you don't just base it on what other people have done, but you also need to do your own experiment. You need to also put your effort in working towards coming up with new ways, new visions on how things are done successfully in order to serve yourself, serve your students, serve your family, serve the society. For example, when I was a teacher, I I tried using the Cornell note-taking strategy. I'm not diminishing Cornell note-taking strategy. It's being used by a lot of people, and I know that it is very helpful when it comes to helping kids get access to instruction and understand what they're reading and putting into words their own understanding of the material. However, for me, it was not enough because I want literature to be put in the students' work. I want them to know how to write well and at the same time understand the material, understand what they're reading, understand what they're watching, understand what we're discussing in class. So I created an MOTCE chart. We call it M is modified, O is for observation, T is for thought question, C is for claims, E is for evidence, and of course it's a chart. And in order for students to know what to put on box A or box 1, they need to read the material first. They need to be acquainted with the material. They need to watch the video, or they need to examine the work. So the first box will ask them to write down facts and their observations. Okay, so they read that, they write facts, they write observations, and then box 2 is asking them to write thought questions. And you cannot just write thought questions if you don't go back to the material, right? So they have to go back to the material and then write their thought questions. And then box 3, they need to write the answer to their questions. And in order for them to do that, they need to go back again and answer their questions. So this is the third time that they go back to the material. Box 4, I believe, is about the sources of their answers to their thought questions. And so they need to provide the literature or the source of information of their answers on box 4. And box 5, on box 5, I asked them to draw. No, it was not drawing because I don't have it in front of me right now. There's a box that is asking them to write down vocabulary, and then define the vocabulary based on the material. So it's like now when they're defining vocabulary, this is the 5th time that they go back to the material and see what it has, reread. If it's a written material, they have to reread it. Now this is the 5th time. And towards the end, because there are 10 boxes, they are able to now say whether they have understood it or not, what is their feedback, is it thumbs up or thumbs down, and why. And prior to that, they need to create a summary or a conclusion of what they read and what they learned. And during the time, my students were asking if they needed to do more work, if they needed to study before the test. They would ask me if they could do the MOTCE, or sometimes they call it MOTC. Okay, so it was, in my part, it was an innovation. Did I take risk? Of course. Why? Because it was kind of long, it was kind of condensed. However, towards the middle of the semester, my students have gotten used to it. So for me, it's innovation. It may not work for others. I tried sharing it with other teachers, but if your heart is not into it, and if people have the tendency of not getting sold to other people's ideas, if you're not famous, it's like yes, it's there, but they haven't attempted to use it. I don't know, maybe one or two attempted to use it. However, for me, it was very effective for students, as a tool, in accessing, information, accessing instruction with everything in it. Vocabulary, they had to draw a symbol or a picture of what represents the vocabulary, and it's really full. It's really, what do you call that? A condensed representation of student work and understanding. So I took risks. I did it innovatively because it was new, it was different, and I succeeded in terms of my goal in helping students understand what I was teaching them. All right, and so just in life, sometimes we have to take risks, and sometimes we say we don't know what to do, and sometimes we think that the job is difficult for us. However, there are various ways of being innovative in the way you do things and still achieve the same result result of what your job requires. And ask for help, okay? Ask other people who can help you understand the tasks, okay? That's life. Sometimes we don't know everything, and then research. There's a whole bunch of information online that you can use, give you more knowledge on how to do things, okay? And third, no, I think this fourth. And fourth, be prepared to work hard. Be prepared to work hard. I was